I'm just not sure if all connections are good. So I'll be checking all the lights and turn signals. And that's it. That's what we're gonna do today in the Too Many Rides garage. We're gonna fix up stuff here. How's that look? Too Many Rides here. You're in the Too Many Rides garage. Today we've got to get onto something on 2K. Just minor stuff, but I gotta get to the bottom of it. I've had some brake light problems. Nothing major. I don't know exactly what happened, but I can theorize. I had been on a long ride. When I got home, I left one of my switches on and completely killed my little battery pack. So I've been charging that up, but some of the other things was, first off, I noticed I didn't have a brake light or a tail light. And when I took the bulb out, it was completely blown out inside, all completely black. So I threw that one away and put another one in. And that was working okay. On my next ride, I checked it and it wasn't working again. So this time it was just the brake light. I found out that my hydraulic brake switch was not doing the job. What this does is take the place of having a spring, mechanical spring switch. You take out the banjo bolt and replace it with this. Well, this is a bit of a drag. I'm gonna have to put new terminals on there for that. That means a couple of these. And I'm gonna have to have a couple of these. The thing is about this one, it looks like it's epoxied pretty good where the wires come out, but I want to add some additional strain relief to that. And so I'm gonna shrink wrap down over this. There, how's that look? The brake switch on the bike now is this one here that came with 2K. And I'm gonna put this one in here. This one that came with 2K is bigger, and I thought maybe, oh, okay, maybe this is a good one, because like I say, I've already had one of these on here and had it go bad. What happens is, I've noticed that it takes more pressure to actuate it, and then maybe just a couple more times and nothing will actuate it, no matter how hard you press. Won't activate the diaphragm inside there. So I don't know what it is. I've got pretty darn good clean fluid in there. So we're gonna get that replaced. That means we're gonna have to bleed the brakes. We gotta deal with that stuff. Figure out if the brake light and tail light are working, check the turn signals. So that means I've got the wires coming from those over to here, and some of them are enclosed around the back, and they're all hooked up. So I'm gonna be undoing all this stuff and just double checking everything, making sure it's good to go. Powering stuff up and to make sure it's got power. And then the last thing I need to do is check and see what's going on with the auxiliary lights, if anything. Because yeah, you know, I'm wondering why I blew the bulb so bad that it turned black inside and both filaments weren't working at all. Okay, first off, we're gonna have to take this old brake light switch off of here. It looks good, but it's not. They give you some nice new washers for this. This is 10 millimeter with 1.25 millimeter thread pitch. So if you're looking for one, that's what you gotta find. Okay, so we need to get this old brake light switch wires out of the way. Darn these little things. Okay, so there's our brake light switch, and here's our battery tender. I want to make this slightly different somehow. It needs to fit in there and stay right there. So when I strap it down, that's the length I need. So we got the new switch installed, and that puts a little bit of air in. So while we're here, let's go ahead and bleed that out. Here comes some air. See that? Some more air. Still little bits of air in there. Still getting some air. Wonder if I should let it settle a little bit here. Okay, gotta reload the fluid here. There's hardly any air coming out, but there's still a teeny bit. I think that's going to be just about all the air there is. I just saw a teeny little bubble. That's it. Oh, there's more. Yeah, we're still getting there. Oh yeah. Already low on fluid again. I'm gonna have to buy some more .4. Okay, that was pretty clear. Clear of bubbles. Ever so minute bubbles still coming out. I think I'm gonna give it a moment to for all the bubbles to rise to the top. Let's see what we get now. I got a little air, teeny bit of air. Okay, that looks good. Alright. Now we're going to have to top that off. Just enough fluid left to do it. A little bit of fluid left. Alright, that's that on the brake switch change out and bleeding. Should be good. Next we'll get into the wires and all the continuity and make sure everything's good to go. So as far as the wires go, we've got our new brake light switch, which is looks like it'll be long enough without trouble. And we've got our existing wiring. We've got our battery. Okay, here's the battery negative terminal. And it's got two going into it. The battery positive terminal is a real custom bugger. Okay, let's check this out. .5556, so it's got voltage. Okay, next we want to see the brake light light up. Okay, here's our brake light switch right here. Let's go ahead and get that strung up properly. Okay, so this blue one should be lighting up the brake light. This is from the front brake light switch. And that's from the rear brake light switch. Alright, so I should be able to light up that brake light easily. And that's the truth. While we got you here, the tail light has got to be one of these. Okay, so then you've got your tail light. That's not lighting for some reason. And it's a good bulb. So I gotta figure out what I have going here. So those must be turn signals right there. Okay. So for some reason we're not getting anything going out to the taillight. Okay. We've just proven that the bulb is good and that the wires are good all the way to here. Okay, now we want to make sure that this new brake switch is actuating. We're going to take it out of the equation, make sure it's a good thing before we hook it up into the bike's system. So we got some power here and a light bulb. It's not lighting the brake light, but it's working this. So the brake light switch works without even really pressing very hard. And when they start to go bad, at the end you have to press really hard to get them to go, but that means that they only have a couple presses left. So that means we can go ahead and route our new brake light switch wiring. It's gonna have to go over, it's gonna follow the brake line, right, piggyback the back of it. You gotta make sure it's not hitting the exhaust anywhere. Okay, we're gonna need another wire tie right there. Keep this off the exhaust. Okay, next on the agenda is to get these this new brake light hooked up. And the way I see it is the old brake light switch had multiple hookups on both legs. So we're gonna have to replicate that now. Okay, now I gotta try to remember how this all goes back together. It's ever so confusing. Let's try to put this back together. Okay, so here's our battery and fuse and a ground from the battery. Okay, so it's supposed to be somewhere along here. I can't remember where anything goes. We've got 3 female receptacles and 1 ground happening here. I didn't think we needed a ground. We've got a female ground there, but that's not it. Okay, so I can't figure out where everything goes. I'm gonna have to look at the tape. It's another day in the Too Many Rides garage. You see, where we last left you, the wires got complicated. And I had to go look at tape to see where it was. You might say it looks like a rat nest or something, but it's actually pretty straightforward. I still have to tuck these wires in. I'll give you a closer look at what's going on here in just a second, but this is kind of like all back together. And I did a dry run of signals and tail light and brake light and everything, so up and working. I just have one confusing thing that I'm going to double check on. I'm going to pull this back apart and double check on the ground. The thing about the system here that we're working with is the battery hooks up to the rectifier and does not hook to ground at all. So the rectifier is putting out, it's especially this yellow with green stripe, that can power everything you got, and the grounds from all those accessories comes back, the rectifier, not to the battery. And then the battery hooks directly to the rectifier through the red and the black. So you can send stuff out of the battery terminal, the red terminal on the battery. You can send stuff out there, but you don't want the ground to come back to the battery. You want it to come back to the rectifier. And the thing is, I added one extra ground here because I was confused about where stuff was hooking up here. There's a lot of wires that I made myself, and I couldn't completely figure it out. So we stopped. We went to the tape and we checked the tape to see just what's going on there. And in the end, I think I got it. I don't have a diagram for this, and each bike that I've wired is hooked up somewhat differently, so you never know. The battery tender has been adjusted so that it can go right here, and I believe it'll stay there throughout the kicking. You know, your pants rubbed this or something, and it kept falling out because I had it a little longer. So now I'm gonna redo all of this again. I'm gonna take it apart, or partially take it apart, and strap it up nicer. Anyway, so that's gonna be sitting in there when it's all said and done. And we got our new brake light switch in here, and it's been tested. And we got the brakes bleeded. And we'll be starting her up here next after some fiddling. I'm gonna have to fiddle with it a little bit. But I'm gonna have to get the side panels and the seat on. Yeah, we're gonna have to put the seat on. One of the most important things is this rubber flapper. In the parts, they just call it rubber. Got to make sure that seat's right on top of your airbox, rear airbox flange, and doesn't get caught up in the frame and so forth, so that you can keep all this mud out of your airbox. But other than that, the other thing you gotta do is get this started and up on there. So we're gonna have to put this taillight lens on. Well, I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. We're not getting anything happening here now. I think we had it before, and since I messed around with it, we don't have it anymore. Okay, so we're going to take a look at things here. Just double check one last time. So you've got your battery. The two battery wires need to be hooked up directly to the red and black on your regulator and not incorporated within the accessories ground loop. All your accessories can run off of your yellow with green stripe out of the regulator. So I did not mess with anything going this way, although I did take the whole headlight off and was checking some stuff there. I've double checked that all lights are working, and I really didn't have a big problem here with the wiring. The problem was with the tail light itself. It seems where the bulb goes in and touches, you know, you put it in and turn it, where it touches is just two brass tongs that, due to the nature of their bend, have some spring action to them. And so when you put it in and turn it and touch it, you're touching those two terminals. Well, they were all covered with funny stuff in a way, you know, that I needed to scrape and clean the surfaces. And I also rebent the tangs a little bit, so it was like the one for the tail light wasn't as prominent up front as the brake light. So the tail light's back here, and I brought them up both a little bit up, so now when the bulb's in there and touches, should be good. You know, these are just cheap plastic tail lights. Everything about them is cheap and plastic. Alright, so that's looking good. Got a fuse here for the battery tender, and underneath here is another fuse box for anything switched out of the battery or out of the power. Yeah, it's out of the battery. Okay, you guys got that all figured out, right? Okay, well, I had the bike all put back together, and then I turned it on and nothing was happening. So I had to come back in, and I took a look at stuff and figured out that I had one wire wrong. So I put it back together. And I went to test the brake light switch. I just put this in, and I had tested it and it was working, but it's not now. Darn it. And so I just went to town and did a bunch of tests. You know, I had to modify the wires to put on double connectors, and I tested it once I had it installed, and it was good. But now, front brake light switch works fine. The rear brake light, I can't get it to actuate. It's like it's already gone bad. Darn it. Just after bleeding the brakes, it's gone bad. I don't know what to do, because I don't want to switch over to a mechanical switch that has to hook up to the brake. I hate that. I just need a good brake light switch. I don't care how much they cost. Alright, so now I'm going to go out. I don't think I'll have much luck, but I'm going to see if I can find a pressure switch. It's a new day in the Too Many Rides garage, and we're going to have to fix this bike up. Brake light troubles. I don't know if I'm the most unfortunate person, or you're probably going to say I did something wrong, but I still don't have a brake light switch at all. You can push on that as hard as you want, and you can't get the brake light to light up. Everything's fine. The front brake lights it up. I've narrowed it down. Here's your brake light switch here. The connections are excellent. I can't get any continuity through it. So now I'm going to have to replace the brake switch again. I've got a brand new one here. We had to order that since last time you saw us. And now I have to install that. That means I've got to change the ends here to be proper double female. And I got to re-shrink wrap this. I got to disassemble that one off of the bike, cut the wire ties and get the new one on and get it all strapped in. And then I'm going to have to bleed the brakes again. Let me give you a recap of the history of where the brake light switch is on this. A couple weeks ago, my friend told me, oh, you don't have a tail light. So I got looking into that, and I pulled the tail light lens off, and the bulb was blown. It was black inside, and both filaments on it were blown. So I replaced the brake light bulb, and I was good to go. But then next time I went to get the bike out, I've got no brake light. And so that's where we come into this current project, which has been more than 1 day. As you recall, I had the thing working. You saw the video of the new switch installed mechanically and tested and working. And then I go dial it in and it's no longer working. You're gonna say I did something wrong. I don't know. The little tabs inside the brake light housing where the bulb sits in its socket weren't quite pressing against the bulb good enough. So that was some intermittent problem there. Plus it had, like, you know, they're brass plated or brass or whatever, and it had some of the material there, like it was like it was worn off material from the brass. I don't know. So I cleaned that up, and like I say, we were working. Now I'm going to have to put another new brake switch in, do all that stuff to it, and I should be good to go. Let's get 2K on the road again. You know, I could have been riding it, I just didn't have a rear brake light switch. But we're gonna fix that up. Maybe I damaged the wires in installation, but I see a possible damage right there. See that junk coming out of there? What's that? I think we're getting somewhere with it now here. I think we're looking good on that. We should have a brake light switch now, but I have to test it before I go wrapping it up any further. We've done the installation, bled the brakes, but we haven't finalized everything to put the seat on yet. We want to test it. Okay. Front brake. Yeah, that's working. Rear brake. Oh yeah, that's just like it should be. It doesn't look like it's on here right. Okay, good. We're almost done. Just got to button this up, put the seat on. Need to go out and test ride. It's supposed to be big rain. Could go out in the rain. That would be a fun adventure. What's going on with that? Well, it's cracked. That could have something to do with it. Over tightening of these screws could have something to do with it. But let's just see if we can get it. Why isn't it placed in there right? It's as if the back plate bulb holder part is not sitting in its right spot or something. So let's see about that. Seems to be kind of locked in where it's at. But yeah, look at that. The screw hole's not where it should be. This one is. Something's got that like whacked out. It looks like it's even melted into place there. Looks like it has glue on it. This is amazing. How could this be? This thing has always been free floating in here, like it is now. So now you can screw it on. It looks, it looks like ABS glue or something. It's awfully strange. Geez, seems like everything is going wrong with the tail light. Oh yeah, that fits a lot nicer. All right. Okay, she's ready to ride, supposedly. Everything should be ready to go. Oh boy, 2K. Let's get you out again. One last thing. Let's take a look at this one here now. I wasn't being all careful about it. Oh, I see what that black crap is. It's like spray paint or something. No wonder. Look at all that. Look at that just coming off of there from the brake fluid. That's what I saw on the brake line when I was bleeding it out. Darn it. What a piece of junk. I gotta take a picture of that. Look at all that crap. The wires are small and cheap, and both of these are, like I say, I was pretty rough on it when I took it out knowing that it wasn't going to be any good. But that's all that junk inside and out. Unbelievable.